What's good, peeps? Self-isolation day 40-something. I need to know what day it is. I can't remember. I think it's 42 or 43. Hopefully everyone is doing well. Hopefully you're all okay wherever you are in this glorious, wonderful, crazy, effed up world we currently live in. A quick rant. I remember, I think when a couple of days ago, I said I had a tiler here, right? Doing the tiles. Yeah, I had to get rid of him. Had to get rid of him. Absolutely useless. Useless and clueless. I'm a very laid back person. You guys probably realize this watching the channel. I'm actually quite laid back. It takes a lot to get me it takes a lot of some stuff to get me agitated. Obviously things like steroids and shit get me agitated. But just in the general life, it takes a lot to get me agitated. Remember my ex-girlfriend always used to say, oh, you're too laid back. So I'm quite a laid back person. Now, obviously got him in. He's a local handyman or odd job man, right? What's that phrase they say? Jack of all trades, master of none. No slight on that, right? Do your thing. He showed me a few jobs he had done. Tick a box. Now, to be honest, he could have fucking got those photos from anywhere, but how am I supposed to know? What am I supposed to do? It's the tiling job. I mean, I'm not asking this guy to be a brain surgeon. I'm not going to phone people and say, did he tile for you? No. So I started taking off some tiles. It was far too difficult. Maybe I was a bit too lazy, so I got him in. Took off the tiles. Decent job, right? I mean, decent job in the sense that he took them off even quite neat, so he wasn't fucking up the wall, and then he's going to ask me for plaster money to plaster the walls and all that crap. So look, bear in mind, I'm in here in my front room most times. I'm not going to be out there watching him and his friend tiling. I'm not that kind of guy. Plus, it's only tiling. Again, what? You know, if you can tile, you can tile, right? I can't. Well, I can now. So after a few hours, I went in, had a look at what he was doing. In fact, let's go back a bit. So he asked me to buy certain stuff, right? I understand that. Grout, adhesive, tile spacers, some paint because he's going to paint the bathroom as well, all the kind of, but then he started asking me to buy tools, and that, I didn't like that. I was like, why are you asking me for tools? Like, you should have your tools. This is your thing. So I bought the tools anyway. Even that pissed me off a bit, but just because I'm never going to use the tools again. I'm never going to use a tile cutter again. I don't think. What am I going to do with it? Store it for 7 years and then bring it back out again. So I was a bit upset, and that kind of sent alarm bells ringing, but I thought, Ade, calm down. Just wants a fucking tile cutter and some tools. Bought that stuff. Let's fast forward a bit now. Watched him do it. Or no, I came back out and watched him for about 10 minutes. I thought, okay, he's doing nice, but I knew that was going to be an easy area to do. I wanted to see how he was going to tile around the window, which is a bit more difficult, right? Smaller tiles, it's a bit harder. Fucking butchered it. I was calm. I went in there and I was like, oh no, you're doing it wrong. I actually fucking showed him a YouTube video of how he should tile around the windows. Anyway, I took all the tiles off. I was angry. I said, quickly take them off before they dry, you know, because we had like far sealing adhesive. Take them off. So I ripped them all off. I could see his face like, oh my God, what's he doing? Yeah, I ripped them all off. And then I went to the front room, told him to calm down, have a cigarette break, start again. Came back, started again, butchered it again. I was like, no, you gotta go. I was like, you know what? So I paid him some, not everything, right? Even though he tried to kind of argue with me, I was like, bruh, don't do it. So I paid him some, he went, and then me and my friend now are doing it. And we've taken our time and we're doing a good job. We're actually doing a good job, right? We're watching the YouTube videos, doing it as it should be done, I think. I might show you a photo of our work. Even this morning, I laid floor tiles. Grouted them as well, you know. So yeah, he had to go, which is annoying, but yeah, I've got time, I can do it. All right, second thing before we talk boxing, I've got to shout out this guy, James Murdo, or Jamie Murdo as his email goes by. Is a guy that watches a YouTube channel. He's been watching it for a while. He's an author. Like, I don't even know how you, like, how many pages is this? I've not started reading it yet. I only got this yesterday. 539 pages. How does your brain work to sit down and type out a book? I do not know. But he's an author. He sent me this book I'm guessing he sent it about a week ago, but obviously because of COVID-19, it's taken long. He signed it, wrote a nice message in there. Hi, Ade, keep up the good work, James. The book is called SHAKUR Remembers. It's a sci-fi book. I love reading. You guys obviously won't see this, but I've got a bunch of books there, ton of books there. My favorite author is Lee Child. So if you can, go and support him. I don't know if it's on Amazon yet or anything like that, but you can go to his website, www.jamesmurdo.com, and let's support, right? I'm going to send him an email. I don't know if he's going to do this. It's a bit cheeky of me saying it now, saying if anyone kind of references Boxing Talk with Ade, they get 5 or 10% off or anything. But reading's fantastic, right? I love reading. Better than finding some crap on Netflix sometimes. Have a good read. But go and support, guys. Again, sci-fi, SHAKUR Remembers by James Murdo. All right, let's talk some boxing. I don't actually have anything specific to talk about. You know, like normally I say fast forward to the end. This time I'm just going to run through what we might have missed for the last sort of day and a half since we done a vid. All right, what's this? Shakur Stevenson. Teofimo Lopez's best shot is to knock Lomachenko out. I mean, that's what everyone's saying, right? I mean, look, he's not going to outbox him, is he? That ain't happening. But I mean, Loma could knock out Teofimo as well, right? Loma can hit as well, right? He can hit. It might not have that same one punch kind of knockout power that Lopez has, but I mean, he can hit. Let's have a look at Vasyl Lomachenko's knockout record, actually. 2 seconds. How many fights does he? I mean, a lot of these fighters just quit, don't they? Or they say no mass. 14 fights, 10 KOs. Decent. 14 fights, 10 KOs. Ridiculous. But yeah, 14 fights, 10 KOs. I mean, let's be honest though, a lot of those were at the lower weight classes, right? But, I mean, he can hit. What's Teofimo's? Teofimo Lopez, 15 fights, 12 knockouts. So pretty much the same. Only 15 fights, Teofimo Lopez. He ain't beating Vasyl Lomachenko. He just doesn't have enough experience to. Like, I mean, he's only 22. I mean, I think youth gets you through a lot, right? Just that youthful exuberance, they say. But it's just not enough experience. Just doesn't have enough experience. He ain't winning that fight. I could bet my house on it, right? He ain't winning that fight. He ain't winning that fight. Simple. What else have we got here? Liam Williams to Andrade. Face me or vacate. I'll be too much for you. I like that fight. It's going to be an interesting fight. I think Liam Williams is gonna give it, right? He moved up from 154 to 160. He's now big at the weight. He's training at the Ingle gym. No comment. No comment, people. No comment. No comment. Stop it. Stop. But I think Liam Williams is a good fighter. I think he's a solid pro. That's what I think he is. I don't know where I think he is. I don't know if I still think he's European level or world level. Obviously, they've got the common opponent in Alantes Fox, who took Demetrius Andrade all the way. Liam Williams stopped him in a few rounds. So it's going to be a decent fight, man. I feel like Andrade doesn't operate well when people are aggressive against him, right? If you stand off and try and have a boxing match with him, then he's obviously quite skillful, right? But if you're just trying to put it on him, we'll see what he can do. All right, what's next? Dana White. Boxing's problems can be fixed. Eddie Hearn might be the guy to do it. No, boxing's problems can't be fixed. Not at all. There's too many problems, right? There's no way. I mean, too many sanctioning bodies, TV networks, can't be fixed. What can Eddie Hearn do to resolve that? I feel like I understand what Dana White's saying, but I think he's coming from a place of, look, he's a boxing man, so obviously he's used to be a boxing manager, so he knows he's boxing, but if he's kind of got the same mindset from an MMA world, then it's not going to work in boxing, right? You just can't have a monopoly like that. There's far too many problems in boxing, far too many big promoters, far too many TV networks, managers, sanctioning bodies, regular belts, interim belts. It can't be fixed. I just enjoy it for what it is right now. That's kind of why I've stopped ranting about some of these stuff. Like, I think now, having no boxing, right, with no boxing being on for the last couple of months, I just want it back. Just bring the crap that comes with it. Just bring it back. But unfortunately, even Eddie Hearn, as mighty as Dana White thinks he is, ain't resolving this whatsoever. Top Rank President, we want Crawford back as soon as possible. I did see an image with Terence Crawford and Jamel Herring and that crew doing their road work, so they all want to come back as well. Jamel Herring actually said camp has now started. So I do wonder, obviously he was supposed to fight Carl Frampton. If camp has started, you're thinking he's probably going to have a 9 to 10 week camp. I do wonder, there has been talks about him versus Carl Frampton behind closed doors. I wonder, right? But it'd be good to see Terence Crawford back as well. I think all these fighters need to come back, right? They're all going to just need to understand that they need to come back, fight behind closed doors. Yes, you might take a hit on your pay packet, but you do need to fight. If you don't fight, you don't get paid. It's that simple. So not only does Top Rank President want to see Crawford back, I want to see Crawford back as well. The thing with Crawford, and I've made so many videos about it, who is he going to fight? Who is he going to fight? Are they going to get someone over from the PBC brand to come over? Could it be Kell Brook at 150? Crawford has said things like he's happy to go higher. I think he was tongue-in-cheek, right, when he's talking about Charlo, but I don't know. I mean, again, these fighters boil down from quite heavy weights. I don't think Crawford does. Crawford looks like he stays in and around 160, 165 max. I don't even think 165. So is he comfortable to fight at 150? Would he want to give that kind of size to Kell Brook? I don't know, but it's who he's going to fight, right? Crawford coming back's one thing. Who is he going to fight? Crawford's a pound for pound, a top 3 pound for pound, unbeaten, freeweight world champion. We can't have guys like, and no disrespect, we can't have an Amir Khan, we can't have a Kavialaskus, is that the guy's name? We need better. We need better. They need to deliver. Bob Arum says, Tyson's return could do well on pay-per-view, but I wouldn't stake money on it. I agree, by the way. I think like the buzz that's coming out of these Mike Tyson clips, I mean, you just go on YouTube and just type in Mike Tyson clips and the videos are getting hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views. There is a buzz there. And I do feel like even if it's an exhibition, I don't know what is an exhibition. Like, is it going to be less minutes per round, less rounds than usual? But even if it's a 6-round, 3-minute rounds, but 6-round fight against a Shannon Briggs, and you chuck that on pay-per-view for a tenner, I think that would do astronomical numbers, like right now, especially when there is no boxing. I think we'll do crazy numbers, crazy. I could see that comfortably. I remember we're talking an exhibition, so the number I'm about to say, sorry, might not be, oh my God, compared to Canelo or an AJ, but I think it could comfortably do 300,000 pay-per-view buys comfortably, right? I would sign up right now to watch Mike Tyson versus Shannon Briggs in an exhibition. In fact, 500,000 comfortably. Remember, I'm not talking $50 or $80 or $100. I'm just talking $10. Could do $1 million. Could do $1 million. Because when you think of why some fighters struggle to sell pay-per-view, it's because they don't have a casual fan base. Tyson has that, right? I mean, famous people, Hollywood stars were tweeting out and putting on Instagram that little 6-second clip. They went crazy. They went nuts. So you can imagine how nuts they would go if it was announced that he's fighting someone of note like a Shannon Briggs. Man, crazy. Joe Joyce open to have an interim bout before facing Daniel Dubois. That's interesting because, again, that fight, Frank Warren, I've not watched any Frank Warren interviews of late, but, I mean, it's still scheduled for July, right? I mean, we haven't heard anything about that fight being pushed back. I don't think it can happen in July. Just because Frank said it isn't going to happen behind, I think he said it's not going to happen behind closed doors, and I can't see them letting 20,000 into the O2 Arena for July, right? I just can't see it. Even if they space it out, like they did with that fight in South America, where they had everyone kind of, 4 or 5 seats away from each other, I still can't see the government allowing that over here. So I'm guessing that means Joyce versus Dubois would be pushed back to sometime maybe 2021, and if that's the case, then it makes sense for Joe Joyce to have an interim fight behind closed doors. Makes sense for Dubois as well. He doesn't want to sit out that long and then go straight into a fight with Joe Joyce. That would be stupid. Shakur Stevenson could headline ESPN show June 9th in Las Vegas. Bob Arum did say that ESPN are going to do like 4 fight cards. Not 4 fight cards, 4 fights on a card. And I think he's going to do 4 of those sort of back to back, start in June. And there has been talk about Shakur Stevenson headlining one of those. That's fantastic, right? To get a name like Shakur Stevenson on the card. I mean, that's great. There was talk about Shakur Stevenson moving up in weight. I don't know if he's still staying at the same weight. If so, then obviously that means it's a world title fight. He's defending his belt. If not, then obviously he's going to vacate and move up, and be interesting to see what happens. Eric Morales on Marquez. I didn't need 4 fights to beat Pacquiao. These two have always had a little beef, Morales and Marquez, just because I think there's always been like this poll done, and I think I even saw one recently of like the top 10 Mexican fighters, and I think Marquez was above Morales. And that obviously irks Morales, right? Just because he thinks he's the better Mexican. I mean, that would be such a good vote. I don't know who is. I mean, obviously you got Chavez Senior, just in case people think I'm saying Chavez Jr. Chavez Senior, you've obviously got Marquez, Morales, Barrera, recent fighters, Canelo. There's so many good Mexicans, and I'd like to know from a Mexican boxing reporter or writer who they think is the best, but those two have always had their little beef. Sergio Martinez, my return to boxing is just a matter of time. I just wonder if all these fighters that are talking about coming back, and I just wonder if it's just because everyone is in lockdown and just bored, right? And once lockdown opens again, the world starts moving again, they'll come to their senses. How old's Sergio Martinez? Sorry. Not that this matters, but again, I did say that Sergio Martinez retired just because of his legs going, right? 45, just because of his legs going. It wasn't like he got a beating of a lifetime, right? Even in the Cotto fight, his legs just kept sort of collapsing underneath him. That's why that's such a big asterisk for me, that under Cotto. I mean, Cotto gets plaudits for putting him down, but his legs were gone. He cheated the fans, in fact, by saying his legs were fine, but yet he came into the ring with like bloody leg support on both legs. So it's not like them fighters that retire because they've been done, like they've been knocked out and they've been badly beaten, like a Lucas Matisse, for example. Sergio Martinez is different. So if his legs have healed, then I don't know. There is talks about him versus Marcus Maidana, right? So who knows? What's this? Chris Eubank Jr. wants Canelo, GGG, Charlo, Andrade. He says, I'm ready. I don't know. Chris Eubank Jr. Is he ready for any of those? Would you favour him against Canelo? No. GGG now? Still no for me. Charlo? No. Andrade? No. You know what it is? It gives them decent fights, right? Just because of his engine, his gas tank's good, he throws punches and bunches, it'll cause you problems, got a great chin. So it'll give any of these guys problems, any of them, right? If anyone thinks that any of these guys just run through Chris Eubank Jr., then I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, they don't. I just don't know how realistic it is for him to even get those fights. The most realistic one is Charlo, just because, again, under the same umbrella of PBC. The others, I'm not sure. I do wonder how long he's got left on that PBC contract. I don't like to advise people to, not like he's listening to me, but people to switch camps and switch promoters. But I think he's got to go back to working with Eddie Hearn, and then he might be in the picture for these fights. Even that doesn't guarantee them, but he might be in the picture. And then obviously then it puts him in the picture for Callum Smith, puts him in the picture for Billy Joe Saunders, right? Right now, it's just talk, because we know how difficult it is for him to get those fights. I do like the fact that we are seeing footage of him still working with Roy Jones Jr. during this time of isolation, which is good. He's working, he's trying, it's like he's soaking in knowledge for the first time. He clearly has so much respect for Roy Jones Jr. As a middleweight or super middleweight or any boxer, right, of any weight, you're going to have respect for Roy Jones. And I think he's just not had respect for the people behind him, obviously apart from his dad before. So we'll see what Chris Eubank Jr. can do. All right, last couple of bits before I lock myself back into the bathroom and continue tiling. All right, what's this? Evander Holyfield trilogy with Mike Tyson is a fight people definitely want to see. No, they don't. That's just such a lie. That's just, I haven't heard anybody, and my ear is to the ground in the boxing community. I've not heard one person or read anywhere anyone say, oh, man, I can't wait to see Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield again. Nope. That's a lie. No, nobody wants to see it. Like, you stay retired. Stay retired. Please. Jesus. Did you see Evander Holyfield? And this is not being disrespectful, by the way, because Evander Holyfield, like, real deal, is fucking one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time. So I'm not being disrespectful when I say these things. But did you see him sort of hit the pads in the bag and how slow it was? And just stop. And you compare that to how fast and vicious Mike's looks. I mean, he made Mike look like a 25-year-old boxer. Like, Mike it makes me feel like Mike actually looks incredible. Like, incredible. Because again, if you haven't watched it, go and watch Evander Holyfield's he put a little clip up. And that's, in my head, how I thought Mike was going to look. Mike looks incredible. They're obviously smart though, obviously, because the clips that we're seeing of Mike are like 5-second clips sort of mashed together. And I'd like to see how Mike looks in a minute burst, right? As opposed to these little 5-second bursts. But Mike is making Evander look really bad. So no, I do not want to see Evander Holyfield versus. I don't want to see Evander Holyfield full stop, to be honest with you. Can everyone just fucking stay retired, please? I mean, how many fighters, look, this in the last 7 days, Marcus Maidana, Lucas Matisse, Sergio Martinez, Layla Ali, Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe, Mike Tyson. What's this? Eddie Hearn reveals he was contacted regarding Mike Tyson returning. I saw that. Eddie Hearn, and I think Eddie Hearn was like trying to say like, he doesn't know if he wants to do it or not. Like, it's good business, but morally he thinks it's wrong, which means he's going to do it, right? He done YouTube. So he's going to do it. What's this one? Gervonta Davis, I see myself breaking down Lomachenko probably by 9th or 10th round. Dude, you couldn't break down Gamboa. Oh, boxers talk, don't they, hey? Oh, this is why, guys, I can't go. Everyone says, Ade, go out there and try to interview boxers, right? Like, you know what a lot of people do. I can't. It's unless obviously Sky send me out there, I can't go out there myself because I could be interviewing a Gervonta Davis, right? Interviewing him, going back and forth. And I say, how do you think you would get on with Loma? And I could see myself breaking him down by the 9th and 10th. And in my head, I'll be thinking, but he didn't break down Gamboa. And I'd want to say it, and I'd say it. And obviously, they would never interview me or let me interview again. Because, no. I get it, right? Think you're going to do these things, but realism, or is that the right word? Realism is going to hit you in the face very quickly. You ain't breaking down no Lomachenko. You're just not. You're not. It's not happening, right? In fact, I can see Lomachenko breaking your ass down by the 9th or 10th. Just saying. Anything else before we pack up and go back to Thailand? I think that could be it, people. Is that it? Okay, let's end on this one. Dimitri Bivol would move down to 168 pounds to fight Callum Smith. This tells me two things here. He's not big enough to fight Bertabiev, right? I mean, Bertabiev would have to chop off his fucking leg to make 168 pounds. Ain't happening, right? He's far too big. So the fact that Bivol can actually come down to 168 tells me he's a small light heavy and Bertabiev would run through him, right? Bivol could be the natural better boxer, right? More slicker, but Bertabiev would just absorb and then run through him. But I do like the idea of a Bivol fight with Callum Smith at 168 because we always talk about Callum Smith being very, very big for the weight. And it's so weird. You jump up one more weight class, he's only jumping up 7 pounds, is that right? And he's just normal sized. It's just the same as all of them. They're all that big up there. So be interesting to see what Bivol can do if he does move down and fight Callum Smith. But really and truly, there should be talks about a unification with Bertabiev. That should be the one. I just think Bivol thinks there's more money in a fight with Callum Smith in the UK. Because then, let's be honest, it would go on pay-per-view. It would, people. You have a champ at 175 fighting a champ at 168. Both of them unbeaten. One, the ring recognized number one. One, no worse than number 2 in his division. Pay-per-view. And I think that's what he's thinking about. I think that is it. It is. Stay safe. Peace.